Hi, and welcome to the fourth episode of Tina Talks Keto. Thanks again to all of you who are posting positive comments for my videos. My channel and these videos are about my journey on a ketogenic way of eating. My name is Tina Barkin, and for the past 26 months, I've been eating some form of a low-carb diet. In the beginning, I followed Dr. Atkins' plan in his 1972 book. I'm down about 60 pounds from when I started, and I'm at my goal weight, although I'm not yet at my body fat percentage goal. As we go together with my journey, I'll talk about what I started with, what I'm doing now, and what worked and what didn't. Right up front, it's important to say that what you hear from me is my opinion. It's what worked or didn't work for me and me alone. The things I talk about in this video and any past or future videos are not any kind of medical advice. I'm not a doctor. I'm not anything related to the medical field. So, before you make any changes, please see your physician. In my previous episode, I talked about my motorcycle vacation, which took place beginning on week 4 of my journey. If you want to learn how I coped with food while I was traveling, please listen to episode 3. I was very happy that I was able to lose some weight on that trip. I followed the induction food plan in Dr. Atkins' book, and it worked. In this episode, I'm talking about settling into this keto lifestyle now that I'm back home, and how my first month went after my vacation. Of course, my expectations were that I would continue to lose weight steadily. I wasn't expecting to lose quickly. In fact, most statistics show that slowly is better, but I was expecting to lose something each week. Well, that was not to be. I got home from my motorcycle vacation on October 15th, 2020. The first few days at home, I still saw a very slight weight loss, with a bump up on day 6, and then on day 7 I was down 0.4 pounds. Okay, I'll take it. The next week at home, I had another small loss, but by my third week home, I was back to the weight I was the day I got back from vacation. And then by November 15th, a month later, I was up a pound. During that first week home, on October 20th, I felt really ill and was wondering if it was the keto flu, even though I'd been following keto for about 2 months. Can we even get it that far into following the keto way of eating? I'd say typically no. And there is some controversy whether the keto flu actually exists. And if it does, what exactly is it? The research I've done over the past 2 years indicates that it can be attributed to an electrolyte imbalance that can be corrected or avoided by adding salt, some magnesium, some potassium to your foods. When we were eating the standard American diet, we typically ate a lot of processed foods. There's tons of salt in these foods, and many of us have also been told by our doctors to limit our salt intake. When we switch to eating real food on our keto diet, we don't get anywhere near the amount of salt we had been eating, so adding salt to our food is really important. So, back to feeling so awful. My lifeline when I started following Dr. Atkins was an Atkins Facebook group. I wrote the following post to the group, and I quote, "Looking for suggestions. Yesterday was horrible. I've been doing Atkins induction since the middle of August. I've been doing fine, feeling great and losing weight. 12 pounds since I started. Yesterday I woke up early and felt starving. I ate a Swiss cheese omelet and plenty of bacon and coffee with heavy whipping cream. This did absolutely nothing to stave off the hunger. As the morning progressed, The starving feeling got worse. I ate more. Didn't help. I upped my liquids. Didn't help. By the late afternoon, I was so starving that I felt sick, and it was a challenge to swallow anything. I also felt lightheaded. I tried upping my carb intake just to see if that would help." Unquote. Yes, I actually ate half of a roast beef sandwich on rye bread. The bread had 12 grams of carbs. I checked my blood sugar, and it was normal. I was able to check my blood sugar because my hubby is a type 2 diabetic, so he had a meter in the house. Continuing the quote, "By the evening I felt so awful I just felt like crying. I had eaten about 1,300 calories and 24 grams of carbs by then, but was still starving. Also by then, I had an awful headache. My keto sticks was dark purple at 10 p.m., darkest I've had. Usually, I'm between light and medium. The following morning, I was okay except for a mild headache. I'd love to understand what happened and to get some strategies for preventing this in the future." Unquote. Most of the responses were to add electrolytes. I've learned since then that keto sticks, used for testing urine, show ketones not being used, so dark is not better. It's an indication that the reason I felt so awful was that my body was not burning enough ketones for fuel. And it was also not getting enough glucose. Consequently, I felt horrible. I've had this exact same thing happen once before when I was following Nutrisystem, and I have to say it's an awful experience. And it lasted a lot longer that time. In fact, I felt so sick that time that it took me quite a while, many weeks, to feel okay venturing out of the house. With Nutrisystem, the cause had to be severe calorie restriction and not enough nutrition. Back to my month ending with a 1-pound weight gain. I get on the scale every day, and I've been doing that for most of my adult life. I've learned that my weight fluctuates up and down, sometimes as much as 4 pounds, and I don't tend to get upset about the gains because they are usually followed by losses. No one ever sees a steady downhill, straight line movement. What's important is the trend. So the scale is kind of a tease, and the lost pounds tend to help with following the plan and keep the frustration at bay. The scale is not my boss, and it doesn't determine what I eat or don't eat. I think of the scale as just another data point. Besides, I've read that it's not scientifically possible to gain more than 0.2 of a pound of fat in a day. This is from an article called "How Much Fat Can You Gain in a Single Day of Binging?" It's an article that I read that references a study done at the University of Colorado. I've put a link to the article and the abstract to the study in the show notes. Because I saw results during my vacation and for the first 2 weeks back at home, I wasn't particularly worried about this 1-pound gain at the end of the month. I've followed enough diets to know that there are weeks when we don't lose. My mindset, remember that switch that I talked about in the previous videos, was strong. That switch, what I call my determination switch, has happened twice in my life that I remember. The first time was while trying on clothing in a Macy's and looking at my butt in a 3-way mirror. I saw myself as I tried on a men's size 44 pair of brown corduroy jeans. Men's, because back then there were no women's clothing in that size. And my mind just said, this is it, you've got to do something now, right now. I don't remember which diet I decided to try back then, but I do remember working at it for quite a while. This time around, that switch turned on when I didn't have any pants in the house that fit, and I had to lay down on the bed to suck in my stomach so I could get the pants zipped up. I was so fed up with how I felt and how I looked that I said enough is enough, along with a few curse words, and I remembered that Atkins had worked long ago. I stopped eating all the garbage and went to low-carb foods. One of the things I started to do once I was back home from vacation was to read a lot of blogs and watch a lot of YouTube videos. I started to learn and understand about why Atkins and keto diets actually work. In many ways, the COVID shutdown actually helped me. While adding the 15 pounds was clearly detrimental to my health and well-being, would I have started keto if I hadn't gained that weight? Maybe the status quo before that was comforting enough to not go on this journey. And then while stuck at home because of COVID, I had plenty of time to develop a new passion about learning about metabolism. And it has turned into a passion for knowledge and a passion to fix my health, a passion to live the best life I can live. So what's the takeaway from my first month back at home after a successful vacation? Don't give up. Most of us want instant gratification, and when the scale doesn't respond, we look for something else. We go on and off Atkins or keto, and when we do that, our body has to start over and over again. I've read plenty of posts where folks are saying, I tried for a month and it didn't work. A month isn't enough. So stay the course and it will work. Next week, more about my next month and how to keep at it even when the results are lacking. I hope you are enjoying these videos. Please consider subscribing to my channel so you can get notified when I've posted another video. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.